Okay, we're live. Mr. Hagen, it's Monday morning. How was your weekend?
I had a lovely weekend.
Great. Tell me a little bit about home learning here in your house. What does that look like?
Well, the first week of home learning at first was kind of rough, but then it got much better. We learned about making a schedule. We followed Ms. Eide's tips.
Oh, good.
And everybody's
Thanks.
been really happy. We have some workspaces. So this is what the International School of Mr. Hagen looks like. I'm going to show you a picture. Here's Oscar and Orion, busy working in this exact spot, which is where our virtual learning happens each day.
Do they sit in the same spot every day? Like, are they always like at a table?
Every single day. Oscar
That's a good
sits where
idea.
I'm sitting, and Orion sits where you're sitting, and
that's
I
great.
sit right in the middle.
That's perfect. I really like that. You know, that's kind of similar to what it looks like in my house. This is what it looks like in my house. Okay, you can see there's Jude there doing his work, and then that computer is my computer, and then on the other side of the computer, that's where Leo works. And the only time they move is if they eat or they go to the bathroom or if they read. When they read, they can go sit in a cozy place in the house. But when they're doing like their schoolwork, they sit at a kitchen table as well. I wonder how many of the kids are doing the same thing.
All right. Team Song, we want to give you a couple of virtual learning tips. And the first one we're going to give you is how to resubmit a draft. And this is a new feature in Seesaw that most of you have never seen before. And some of you have already figured it out. I know Arturo, if you're listening, you definitely figured this out. Tommy, I noticed you figured this out also. So I'm going to show you a picture of it, what it looks like when you're inside the Seesaw class app. So here's a picture, okay? Now, a draft, if we send something back to you, it just means that we left you a comment or maybe an audio comment about the work that you did. And here's what it looks like. So if you look in your journal, you're gonna see one of these bars that are this color, and it'll say draft, visible to you and your teacher. And a draft just means you have to make a change and then turn it back in. At the bottom, you'll see where we either typed a comment, or here you can see where it says Ed Hagen recorded an audio comment. Now, you're gonna have to scroll all the way down to see, but how do you know if you have something that needs to be redone? Look up here at the inbox icon, and if there's a little number on here, that means there's something you need to check. So click on inbox, and it'll take you to all the things that you've been up to lately. And you can see if we need to send something back to you. And if we send something back to you, it's okay. It just means that there's a small change that you need to make to do your best work.
Yeah, just like in class, if we want you to change something, we'll just sit next to you and say, hey, we want you to change this. We want you to do something different here, but we can't do that because we're working virtually. So we're going to try doing it through Seesaw. That's something new you guys can try this week, okay? The other thing we want to talk to you about is taking photos. We've talked about this a lot in class. A lot of you have been taking photos of your work and you've been submitting it to Seesaw, and we're going to remind you again that when you take a photo, you take your iPad and you hold it over straight over the work, and you make sure that the work you're photographing takes up the whole screen. You don't want to take the photo like this. Like this, yeah, there you go. You want to hold it over and take your photo, okay? You also don't want to be holding your work like this and have your face in the photograph. We just need to see the work. So you're going to hold it over. And I know we've done this many, many, many times in class. So that's a reminder. That's going to make your work easier for us to read, because some of the work we've sent back to you, we've just said it's too blurry or it's too small and we can't see it. So that's another tip for you for virtual learning this week.
Sometimes it might mean that you have to put your work on the floor and stand over it and dangle the iPad with your arms straight so that you're filling up the screen with the image, and it's really easy for Miss Eide, Mrs. Rivera, or myself to read and enjoy.
Okay, the last thing we want to talk to you about is we have a little bit of a challenge for you. I know a lot of you are doing a lot of work on iPads, and sometimes when you're trying to watch a video or something, your iPad might fall over. You might have a hard time like holding it, especially if you want to write something on your iPad. It gets really, really tricky, and we want to see how many of you can design a stand to hold your iPad so that when you're looking or you're taking a flip grid video, it stands still. You don't always have to hold it with your hands. You might do some work at home thinking about what an iPad stand would look like. You might do some sketching first and then see if you can design a stand to hold your iPad for when you're videoing or you're doing work. On Friday, we're going to have a Flipgrid launched, and that's going to be for you to share your designs with the rest of the class. So that's our design challenge to you. See if you can design and make a stand to hold your iPad.
It doesn't have to be fancy. Right now, Miss Eide and I, we have my iPad on a stack of books, but we think you might be able to do better.
So we look forward to seeing your designs. And remember, the Flipgrid will come out on Wednesday. You don't need to rush. Right now, you need to think of some ideas, and you need to sketch them and maybe start designing, okay?
The last thing that we're going to talk about is what's your home learning going to look like today. So I'm just going to talk about what you're going to do in each subject so you have a preview. So today, in reading, Miss Eide is going to have a quick lesson and a reminder about how to read books on Epic Books. We've noticed that a lot of you have read a ton of books, and we just want to talk about and give you some tips on how to use the app and how to make the most of all the books that are inside there. In writing, Team Song, we know you've already written plan books, and most of you have started your literary nonfiction books. We're unable to get those things to you, so we're going to have to start over again. And for most of you, this is going to be a challenge, but it won't be that bad. We're going to break it into part day by day. So today, you're going to be making a new plan book, and I'll be organizing a little video to show you how to do that and remind you what goes into a plan book. In math, today we're going to be reviewing a strategy that I taught each math group before we went on our little break. The strategy is called Adjust, and we're going to use the open number line model to show this thinking. In science and social studies, you're going to watch a quick video about solids, liquids, and gases. We hope you're doing well. We really enjoy hearing your voices and watching your work each day.
We'll see you soon. Bye, Team Song.